Welcome to Slow Shutter, the podcast for photographers and wedding professionals looking to escape the pressures of the creative industry. So put your pen and notebook away and come hang out with your two besties, Cami Empey and Jade Jenkins. This is Slow Shutter.
Here is your random fun fact of the day. Octopuses, or octopussies, if you will, have 3 hearts, and 2 of them stop beating when they swim, which means they hate cardio.
Oh my gosh. Why'd you pick that one? You wanted to say that, didn't you?
That's not even part of the joke. I made it up.
Octopus is on the mind.
So you're very witty.
I'm just quick.
I looked up while you were looking up fun fact of the day. I looked up what the word of the day is, and it's bombast. Bombast is a formal word that refers to speech or writing that is meant to sound important or impressive.
Nice.
So you need less bombast and more substance.
Speaking of bombast, we have a guest on our podcast today who's very,
very important
and bombast.
Bombast.
Her name is Katelyn.
Katelyn, welcome.
Hello.
Katelyn, have you ever been on a podcast before?
Not like this.
Okay.
Well, now you're famous.
Yes. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome
to the world.
We get like
My time is
20.
coming.
We get like 20 listeners a day.
Amazing. Well, hello.
Slowly increasing.
We started at 5.
Maybe this one will be 21.
Yes, we're at 21.
My mom might listen to this one. So, all right, Katelyn, tell us just a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you're from, what you got going on in life, and all your passions.
Oh my gosh, how much time do we have?
You got like 5 minutes.
Great.
Give us
Okay.
your elevator pitch of you.
Okay, my elevator pitch of me, ADHD version. So we'll see where this goes. My name's Katelyn. My business name is Katelyn Christine. Most people call me Kate. So you can call me Kate, Katelyn Christine, whatever. My pronouns are she, her. I am from Washington, but moved to Europe about 2 years ago. I moved to Germany with somebody, and we're not together anymore, and we're not going to get into that. But it's a very lesbian story of we moved, and then we were roommates until we were like, we cannot be roommates anymore.
Right.
And they were
That was
roommates.
about March. And so then I spent 9 months living nomadically around Europe. I went to 19 different countries last year.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Most of the time I didn't know where my next stop was going to be. Just kind of let what happens happen.
Yeah.
Was that fun? Like, was it fun and exciting, or like, was it scary for the most part?
Yes.
Both.
Not scary. Not scary ever.
Okay,
Never
yeah.
stressful. Like I feel like I probably should have been
Right.
more stressed at some point.
Yes.
It was hard in loneliness sometimes, or we can't swear, correct?
No,
You
you
can.
can.
What the fuck am I doing? In the middle of some random city in Italy,
Yeah.
how long can this last? But
Right.
it was lonely a lot. It was just me.
Yeah.
Well, and
Was
also
that the biggest downside?
Yeah.
Is that the biggest downside to being kind of floating around? What would you say is your favorite thing though, while you're traveling place to place and kind of just going by the seat of your pants where you want to go?
It was really fun to figure out what I like to do again.
Yeah.
I think it's just been kind of a rough few years, and in that lost a little sight of what I'm passionate about, what brings me a lot of joy. And some of my favorite things about myself is that I'm really easily amused. I'm really easily content. And so traveling by myself is honestly one of the perfect scenarios for me.
Oh, I
'cause
love
can
that.
just wander and be so easily entertained by the people around, or the buildings, or the
Right.
birds. I don't
Yourself.
know, literally anything. I'm never ever bored.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even when it was hard and even when it was lonely, I remember thinking in a few years, I'm going to look back on this moment as one of the best times of my life. And so
Oh,
I want
absolutely.
to.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
it's hard, but I'm not going to regret this. And
Right.
yeah, it's been
There's
amazing.
beauty in the struggle of it, and beauty in the unknownness of it as well.
Well, learning to be by yourself is a
Yeah.
really hard
And I
lesson.
think it's a lot of a skill that not a lot of people learn in life, unfortunately, is how to reinvent yourself in that way, and take all the lessons that you're learning and
Totally.
become
Yeah.
bigger, better, stronger.
Well, and you're from the States,
Yeah, I'm from Washington State,
Washington.
Seattle
And so
area.
you know, like also going from being around family and friends and then moving to literally a whole different country. Like
Mhm.
not even just like to Oregon. Like
No.
you went far, far away.
Yeah.
Where like your plane ride is literally a day to get home.
Right.
That's crazy. And okay, so you're also a photographer.
Yes,
Talk to us a little
full-time
bit
wedding
about
and elopement photographer.
awesome. Tell us a little bit about like your business and
Your niches.
your niches, what you love, why
Oh
you love
gosh,
photography.
I love love. I yeah, I have so much fun documenting love in all the different forms, but I mostly work with couples. And most of my clients, even in Europe, are Americans that want to do something different and want to
Cool.
elope. So yeah, it's been an absolute blast. I am a queer woman. I identify as lesbian, and in the past, I came out with my business 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And in the past few years, have really started to find like, or really like my ideal people have found me. I say that I'm straight friendly. Like I am like I will work with anyone. I'm not just for the queers, but I'm like very much so for the queers.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so the majority of my clients are queer. And the straight ones are just the most loving, inclusive,
Yes,
just
absolutely.
amazing couples. Yeah.
The straight one.
The straight ones.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
best.
How long have you been doing photography for? How long have you been a full-time business owner?
Full-time business over. I started my business June 2020.
Oh my
I lost
gosh.
I lost my
We all
job during
kind of did
COVID.
that.
Yeah, wait, we all were like, together we will rule the photography world.
COVID starts, we're all
Yeah.
gonna start our businesses.
Because
And I
legit,
did,
that was
yeah.
probably like the exact same time. I had bought my first camera in probably May and didn't really like start using it until like
Hmm.
July
Yeah.
that summer. So anyway,
Yeah, mine was in 2019. I went full-time
mine melts.
and then COVID hit.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, I got my first camera in 2013. And so I started
Oh.
Oh my
doing
gosh, so you've been doing
photography.
photography for a long time.
Yeah. I started doing photography when I was in college, and it's my origin story is pretty long.
What were you
But
studying? This is my favorite.
education.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
love
Awesome.
that.
Okay, so you're actually kind of using
Yeah,
your
no,
degree.
wait.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
actually feeds
Mhm.
in. That
Yeah.
works.
Can't
Yeah.
relate, but proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I miss like I love teaching. I'm really, really passionate about education. And so I was working with inner city youth, and I was kind of like an uh youth advocate. And so
Yeah.
a lot of the kids I worked with were like coming out of what's it called? Juvenile
Juvie.
detention,
Juvie.
and like getting back into the school system. So
Yeah.
trying to help them learn how to advocate for themselves back in school.
How
A lot of the
fulfilling.
Back
kids,
in your college
yeah.
days, is that what you like saw yourself doing, or did you see yourself in like a kindergarten, elementary school, or like high school?
No. High
No.
school, I really, really love working with teenagers.
Yes, I
Uh,
love that.
I
We do
studied
too
elementary
sometimes.
because I didn't have time to switch. I switched my majors partway. I started,
Oh,
yeah. So in order to graduate on time, because I could not afford another year.
right.
No.
So I was taking like the max plus every semester to
Yeah.
graduate on time.
Yeah.
But I got enough endorsements and study like English literature so that I was able to teach English in a high school. So I did that first.
Oh
Yeah.
And I
my
teach
gosh,
soccer.
so awesome.
Yeah. And then it wasn't for me.
I
Right.
could just like imagine you, just like
Cute
knowing you,
teacher.
imagine cute
Yeah.
Kate
I'm like,
teaching
Yeah,
teenagers.
no, yeah. So then the job that I last had before I moved to Germany was like my ideal situation. So I was hired by an organization, and my whole job was helping at-risk youth figure out what their plan post high school was going to be.
Oh,
And if
way
that plan
cool.
included college, helping them jump through all the hoops that they had in
Yeah.
front of them in order to get there.
Sweet.
Way
So
cool.
yeah,
Oh
I
my
they
gosh,
love
called me
good
that.
for
Coach
you.
Kate. Yeah,
Do
super
you just
fun.
feel like you've lived like 20 lives at this point?
Truly, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's always like part of having ADHD with and doing podcasts like this. It's fun because I don't know what I'm gonna say. Like I don't know what
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
neither
talk
do we.
about in my
Same.
life. Yeah,
I
there's
think
like
back
so many different
to
ways we could take it.
Totally.
pre-photographer Cami. I worked at like a dry cleaners. I worked at Crumble. I say that all the time.
I made the crumble.
Nice.
Yeah.
Totally.
I went to college. There was just so many different versions of my life. And now I'm like,
Wow.
Wow, I'm so glad I landed here though.
Yeah.
I feel
I was
good
a
about it.
Where
I
we're
was a
at.
youth pastor for a while too.
A youth
Very
pastor?
involved in like the faith community. I was a full-time missionary in a country called Sri Lanka for a few years.
Oh my gosh, you have
Like,
lived a
yeah,
million lives.
truly. I was a nanny for a long time, like a full-time live-in nanny.
Oh, cute. I
Oh
would
my
actually
gosh.
love that.
I could see you being a nanny.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
You're
definitely.
doing that kind of right now.
I am.
Yeah.
I love
With
that.
little kids, but
Yes.
that's
They
okay.
like same. I could never. Little kids make me really angry.
Yeah.
I was like, what's about to come out of her mouth?
I was good. They're just a lot. And I had this like conversation with one of our friends the other day because she's got 3 stepkids. And I was
Mhm.
like, bless you for everything that you do because
Yeah.
and I got humbled pretty quick because, the universe sent me something that was like, you have to treat little kids nice
Oh
because
my gosh.
if you want to be a mom, because I want to be a mom someday, like if
Mhm.
you want to be a mom, you have to be nice to little kids because you're gonna have little kids. You can't just skip that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
'Cause I love
annoying.
teenagers. I
I
do
know.
hang out with teenagers all day.
All day.
Right.
But
Mhm.
it's the little ones where I'm like, oh my gosh, what is even coming out of your mouth?
Okay, let's hop into some questions that are relative.
Yeah. So to
to
circle it back, like
circle
COVID
back.
hit in 2020. And so where I was at the time, I was a full-time youth ministry director. And so
Awesome.
when COVID hit and I lost my job, my whole background was either in youth work or in the schools, which were
Mhm.
all closed. And so
Crazy.
what am I even supposed to try to do? And so
Yeah.
the only way I thought of to make money was to try to go full-time, or not even full-time, just try to like make a business, make an Instagram, and see if anyone wants to hire me. I had at that point like shot a few weddings of friends or like a couple friends of friends, but really just part-time pals of
Yeah.
mine from college. But I made an Instagram and said like, why not? And I ended up going full-time that year just because so many
So
of my
great.
friends from college were still wanting to get married and wanting to elope during
Oh, you went
COVID.
like
So
straight into weddings.
yeah,
Awesome.
dude. Yeah,
That's
dude.
crazy. That's so
Yeah,
great
like
though.
had
That's
not
awesome.
second shot, like I had probably shot like 4 or 5, maybe 6 weddings before
Low
2020.
key, me too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My second wedding ever, I had asked Jade if I could come or I could come.
Second shoot.
Yeah, I had done one by myself already, but then I was like, I should probably practice on like
Yeah.
with somebody.
I don't remember
Yeah.
ever second shooting at all.
Just went for it.
Well, and also nobody until like because I feel like education just became a thing.
Yeah,
Like
that also
when
is
we
like
all started in 2020, people weren't like educating the way that they are now. And
Yeah.
those that were educating like kind of sucked. Like and not in like the bad way. They just like they weren't like out there in the way that
it was like, let me sell you this booklet.
yeah, let
and
me
this
sell you
YouTube
something
training,
and let me sell you this like 12-week course and
which I totally bought, by the way, and I totally did all that stuff. But I was like
Yeah.
But
craving more
nobody did
hands-on.
mentorships.
Yeah.
At least like from what we could find, not a lot of people were doing mentorships. Not a lot of people were even just educating on their Instagrams or on their social media. Nobody was like giving
Mhm.
away free
Yeah.
information.
Wait, do you remember 2020? Like it was like the years of gatekeeping. It was
Yeah,
like
everybody gatekeeped
Yeah.
everything.
everybody was like so upset and up in arms about like do
Everything.
not tell anybody anything.
The educators.
for free.
Well, and like I feel like the educators kind of broke out after 2020 because all of us needed a way to make money is probably why.
Yeah.
And I just remember like 2 years into me being full time, somebody said you should be second shooting before you do
Right.
weddings by yourself. And
Yeah.
I was like, oops.
Yeah.
Like here I
that
am
part.
shooting 50 weddings a
Mhm.
year already. And I'm like, oh, I didn't do that part. Oops. But
Yeah.
trial and error, you figure it out and you're totally fine. So
Exactly.
okay, so you went where were we? So then
2020, full time.
2020, full time.
Mhm.
Press play, keep going.
Well, and like what drew you to like weddings and elopements initially? Like was it just your love for love or like just everybody was getting married and they just kind of like were asking you?
That, yeah.
That both.
Well, also you
Yeah.
lived in Oregon,
Washington.
Washington.
Yeah.
So PNW also is just like beautiful.
Very, very
Like
beautiful.
even and you're
Mhm.
you're already creative and you've got an eye for it, but even if you didn't have any eye at all, you could be
Mhm.
you could take the most beautiful photos. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
great.
it's
You're
really
so like
true.
so blessed. And then okay, so then you ended up moving to Oregon at some point.
No, never.
No,
Where did you
she-
get
she's
this?
just a
Why
Washington
did I
lady.
think she was going to Oregon at some point?
No,
No,
she's
never.
just shot in the PNW a
Yeah,
lot. but-
PNW,
That's
Washington
about-
and Oregon are the same in my head.
Okay.
Okay, so then you go to Europe.
Yes.
to Europe. And
Moved
so
to Germany.
were you shooting destination weddings before you did before you moved out there? Or did it
No.
just
It
start
was just
when
a
you moved?
rebrand.
Yeah, it started when I moved. I've always had such a deep love for travel. In my photography work I've like worked with a lot of mission organizations. So I've like done documentary work in Sri Lanka, Senegal, and Mexico. And so like I'm so inspired by other people's cultures and
Yeah.
like the way of life and everything. And there's always been a part of me that wanted to live abroad and spend more time abroad. And so when the opportunity came to move to Germany, um, yeah, again, I was just like, well, why not just try? Why not
Right.
just
Yeah.
go for it?
When
And
you're
I will
young.
say the first year was really hard. So moved in October of 2023. So at that point, and we found out in September that we were going to move in October. So it's very, very
A
quick.
Oh my
month.
gosh, so
So
fast.
yeah, like maybe 6 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Well,
And
did you have weddings still in the States that
yeah,
oh
so
my gosh.
all of 2024 was booked for me to do weddings in
Right.
Washington. So
Right.
2024, I went back and forth a lot, and
Oh my
most of my
gosh.
work was in Washington, and I really wasn't getting booked much in Europe.
Right.
I was kind of freaking out a little bit, like, is this going to work?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I started just really pushing it, and I went to a couple retreats or style shoots that were hosted by European photographers,
Awesome.
and did a lot of networking and then like set up some shoots on my own. And so then looking at 2024, um, so I was getting booked for 2025 and it ended up being about 50-50. Like half of my
Okay.
inquiries were for Washington, half of my inquiries were for Europe.
Okay.
And it was
Yeah.
really hard to choose whether to like say yes to everything or how to like navigate
Right.
where I
Totally.
spend my
Well,
time.
also like going back and forth, you're having to book multiple days, like if
To
not like a
travel.
full week to like figure
Mhm.
out the travel side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be very hard to balance.
Not sustainable. And
No.
so I decided around June of last year that for this next year, so 2026,
Hmm.
that I am just going to say no to Washington
Yes.
weddings.
Right.
And
Which is so
Which
crazy.
is like, yeah, you're like,
dude,
ah,
And also
yeah,
that's
that would
your
be
home
yeah.
your
and
home. Yeah, that would be so hard. But so proud
Yeah,
of you
and
for
that
doing that.
like guaranteed income because I didn't
yes.
know if I still don't know, like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
never know when the next inquiries are going to come, but just trusting that they will come. And
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
Just keep
put a
putting in the
little faith
work.
in that. And
Well, we
now,
were
so like for
talking.
this year,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. So for like this year, I said yes to like 3 weddings in Washington that are friends, or 2 in Washington, 1 in Colorado. And then all the rest of my weddings and elopements are in
Are in
Europe.
Europe.
Yay.
So
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
I'm actually
So
super proud.
great.
This is
Thank
very
you.
much under the category of like protect your peace
Yeah.
and be be present and like just understand yourself to an extent. Like I've also thought like getting inquiries because we travel around the states a lot for different
Mhm.
weddings,
Totally.
and it's like sustainably, like can my mental health handle going from Southern California to
Back to
Texas,
Idaho.
back to
Mhm.
Idaho to Utah. And it's just like, yeah, in reality, I'm like, yes, I could physically do it, but like, could my mental health handle that? And like,
Yeah.
actually, when we're traveling from place to place, I always tell myself, I'm like, when I'm there, I'm going to put the lap desk thing down
the
on the plane
plane.
and I'm going to edit. And then I never
And
do.
then we take a nap.
Yeah.
I'm like, sleep deep by night. And
Yeah.
so, anyway, you just have to be like, that's like really hard to do though, because also when I get an inquiry that I'm like, ooh, they're really cute, even though it's not
Yeah. And like,
Yeah, and like dream
mhm.
clients. Yes.
clients, but I'm
Mhm.
like, could I mentally handle this? It's like, no, no, you can't. You have to be
Yeah.
strong with this
Yes. I have
Mhm.
the yes problem as well all the time.
all the
Yeah,
time.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, well, and also, I don't have kids yet, and I feel
Mhm.
like, I'm so blessed to have all this time and all this energy and everything, but I'm not 22 anymore. I,
Yeah.
Right,
I know.
I feel like I don't have that much energy anymore.
right.
So, anyways, let's get into like the nitty-gritties. Let's ask a couple of the questions that we have prepared so that we can, kind of stay on track.
No,
Do you want
absolutely.
to start?
Yeah. So Kate, since you're so very inclusivity is very important to you and you're a very good educator on it and not just to the photography community, but also to just like the general public on like how to treat people and how to approach wedding days and elopement days with queer couples.
I've actually learned a lot from just
No,
following you.
100%. I have learned
Oh,
so much.
thanks.
And getting to shoot with you this last summer, I was like, this is amazing because I really haven't shot with anyone who's like as willing to educate. Some people are afraid to offend by being like,
Yeah.
no, you should say it this way, or it's better to do it this way.
Mhm.
Because living in rural Idaho,
Yeah.
we don't get a lot.
We're
And
not.
so yeah, and so it's like, okay, that actually makes so much more sense. So anyway, thank you for being very transparent about how and the best way to go about things with queer couples. But a few of the questions that we kind of came up with. Have you ever had maybe, I mean, you deal with a lot of elopement couples too, but it's just like, have you ever had a situation where you have to like plan a wedding day where maybe like the family wasn't super supportive, or had factors throughout the wedding day where you're like, okay, I kind of have to protect my couple a little bit.
Yeah. Like, how are you making them feel safe and
Feel safe
yes.
in a good environment, and like that they are supported in
and
this.
seen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would say every single queer wedding that I do has some aspect of that in one way or another, whether it's really blatant, like family members are going to be absent, or um,
Which it
like
probably is easier when they're not there, right?
Yeah,
sometimes, but
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes people like are just sad in the sense that it's
That
like,
their
exactly.
parents aren't there or
yeah,
their siblings,
Sad,
whoever it is.
yeah.
Yes.
Maybe
Totally.
not, maybe they're not sad that their parents aren't there, but they're sad that their parents wouldn't want to be
Want to
there.
be there.
right,
Yes,
right.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
as the photographer though, like how are you navigating that? Because you're kind of in a space where, you're supposed to capture the feeling of the day and also like there are these like sad feelings that come with that.
Yeah.
So how are you, navigating that with your couple and navigating that with their family and their friends and
Yeah, so I very proudly am the biggest advocate and good friend of all the clients I work with, but
Mhm.
especially my queer couples. And we do this by having conversations about everything starting from the very beginning. So let's just take like any kind of queer wedding, but let's take a lesbian wedding, for example. It's already not going to be a normal wedding because there's not a groom.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
hate to use the word normal, but that's just like the
Yeah.
wedding industry is so heteronormative.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, where there is a lot of sadness and there's a lot of hardship, I try to bring in as much joy and excitement and as eager, like the eagerness as we can. And so, if we're already starting the wedding, it's not going to be like a culturally typical wedding.
Yes.
Again, I hate all these words, so I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
Um,
Straight wedding.
we get to just reimagine every aspect of the day, and
Yes.
there's so much joy and like awe and wonder and excitement in that.
Yes.
And
And so
making it
that's where a lot
completely
of
their
that comes
own.
I can give an example,
Yeah.
like when I got to shoot with Caitlyn at this wedding, that we did in Washington. Something that you already knew going into it, that you had already discussed with the couple, was that they were going to take the time to like thank the queer community and everybody that had come, and then also just be like, be aware of this. At their wedding, they were like, make sure you're aware of your friends who might be struggling because of the standards that are set today.
Totally.
And so they took the time during their wedding day to like say a speech, and Caitlyn already knew about it, and she like told me beforehand, like,
So you could get it on video.
yeah, but she was like, they're gonna do this. And I'm like, that was so good of you to like remember and also ask that something wasn't gonna happen that was important, because I was able to have like my mics up,
Yes.
everything was good.
Yeah.
And you
Anyway.
gave like space to that. That's so great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's just like, I feel like some photographers don't get as involved as they should on a wedding day,
Mhm.
especially a queer wedding day. It's like, well, okay, well, that was something that was super thoughtful and special to them. And like, imagine if we didn't grab it.
Mhm.
And so it's just like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, just understanding that like more attention to detail could be had.
Well, and like Cammie and I just talked about, like, we're in rural Idaho, so there's not a lot of queer couples here, and we
Yeah.
probably are 2 of 5 that are really good at being inclusive and more importantly, not posing them like straight couples and not making them feel like they have to act like a straight couple. And I feel like, educationally, you also do a really good job at being like, no, this is not how you direct your couples in situations like this. For those of you listening, we are going to do a workshop with Katelyn here soon. We'll give more details about it at the end.
So excited.
But something that we really want to touch on during our workshop is teaching photographers how to guide their couples, and specifically queer couples. How do you guide them through photo shoots? How do you guide them through the times where you do have to pose them? And using inclusive language and everything. So
Yeah.
I feel like you're doing such a good job with that too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So how would you describe your working style on a wedding day? If you had to give your overall wedding style, 3 adjectives, what would you give them?
Present,
Ooh.
intentional, and joyful.
Oh, I
Ooh,
love that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
cute. So
Yeah.
cute.
we love that a lot. So, okay, so with all of that in mind, when you're traveling internationally, because now
Mhm.
you're doing, we're going to say no to US weddings. You're traveling internationally. What's the process with all of that, especially with couples who are coming from the US to you? They have no idea where they want to go, both straight couples and queer couples. How are you kind of, helping them find locations that are going to be really great for them? How are you helping them find that in their wedding day?
Yeah, I talk to my couples a lot before we actually get to the wedding or the elopement day,
Hmm.
and spending a lot of time getting to know each other. And I guess like, yeah, a lot of conversation, a lot of questions. One of my favorite questions to ask couples, which is I think how and why I get such unique opportunities and like unique looking
Yes.
weddings and elopements, is I ask them like what would the best day of this trip look like to you? Or if you could plan like as a couple, especially for elopements, if you could plan your ideal beginning to end day, what would you do?
Yeah.
And like hearing that and then figuring out how to incorporate some of that into the day.
Yeah. If
Because
they're like
yeah, they're
running into
getting
the
married.
beach or like getting some
Yeah.
coffee in the morning or something, it'd
Hmm.
be easier to kind of pinpoint
Well,
something
Yeah.
down.
I also love that you called it like a trip because it's
Yeah.
still like a vacation for them too.
Yeah.
Like yes, they're getting
Yeah.
married, but also you should be thinking, you're not just thinking about the getting married part. There's other things
Yeah.
that you can do to make it special. So I love that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and remembering that for the vast majority of couples, this is the first time that they're doing this, the first time they're getting
Yes.
married.
Yes.
Whereas I have now seen 180 plus
Yes.
weddings or elopements. So I let that, like all the different ideas be in my brain and just present
Right.
different ideas,
Right.
not
Well,
expecting
you're
them
getting
to
this
have it.
unique experience too, where it's like
Mhm.
first time getting married, also first time probably in Europe or in said
Mhm.
location. And so
Yeah.
you're like their tour guide, you're their photographer, you're
Mhm.
everything to them, especially
Yeah.
if it's an elopement couple.
Yeah.
You are the entertainment of the day.
Yes.
Like, we were talking about that. Being an elopement photographer, well, being like a wedding photographer, when I go to a wedding, I'm definitely more fly on the wall, try to like stay more in the background. Um, enter when needed,
Yes.
and like,
Mhm.
direct when direction is needed. But elopement, I'm like all day, like, hey guys, look at me, and like
Yeah.
make you laugh, and this is gonna be so much fun. And so it's
Mhm.
very different two personas. We've talked about this, like Cammy and Jade on a wedding day were like business
We're really
professional,
cool.
and then on elopement dates we're like, let's go, like run in this field and like eat
Yeah.
uncrustable.
We were eating our couple's grapes, and so
They offered us like
they were
one,
like,
and then we were like,
you guys can have as many as you want. So that we would like reach into her purse and like take a grape. So funny. She was like, yeah, like so
Yes.
excited for us.
but I love that for you. I would like you're also showing these people like for the first time this location and like they're getting married.
Mhm.
Oh, that would just be like I'm getting butterflies thinking about like all the
Also,
feelings I
Europe,
feel. Yeah, that
I
would just be
I
like the
know.
most incredible
dream,
experience.
literally
Yeah.
my dream, my dream.
Yeah.
That you're gonna help us make a reality.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So I feel like this is a good time to kind of like go into our workshop and like talk about our
Let's do
workshop,
it.
what we decided to do and why and everything. So basically, Caitlin reached out to me and Cami, and we've been talking to Caitlin for
Couple of years.
years.
When
Years.
you first moved to Germany, you were like,
Hey,
come on
let's.
over.
We
And
were
we
like,
were like,
Yeah, and I was like, literally
Caitlin
come
offered for
anytime.
us. She offered for us to sleep on her couch, and we were
Yeah.
like, okay, we will. Then we just never
Mhm.
did. Anyway, so we've been talking with her for literally years about doing some kind of workshop, content day, something in Europe. And finally, Caitlin reached out again this year and was like, guys, we have to make this happen.
yeah.
Why are we
Mhm.
not making this happen?
Yeah.
And we were like, you're right, let's
You
do
know
it.
what?
So
Wilson.
we've decided that we're doing Dolomites, Italy.
I'm so
Woo!
excited.
It's gonna be gorgeous. And I think
Yeah.
we decided this because I'm a snob and
Snob.
I really only care about the Dolomites lately. Every
Mhm.
time they pop up on my For You page, every time they pop up on my everything, I'm like, "Ah, that's my dream. I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
cry. Like
Yeah.
the second we get
Yeah.
out to the mountains, hopefully we do this before any of the attendees come. We're
Right.
gonna go and we're gonna location scout, and I'm just gonna be like tears.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pedal back to when we interviewed our Scotland retreat
Yes.
story.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, this bitch did not even know like anything about Scotland when she took 12 people there.
Yes.
And so you guys are getting a quote unquote local, which is
Yeah.
is going to help us guide us through the European ways of everything. And so how many you've been to Italy a handful of times, right?
Oh my gosh, like
A billion.
close to 20 times?
Yes.
Yes.
I've spent more time in, well, Italy and Portugal are pretty tied, but I've seen a
Yes.
lot of Italy at this point. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and Caitlin's also just like super great at capturing the essence of the locations. And she sent us a couple of her galleries from the Dolomites. And the whole time I was thinking, just like, I'm so grateful we have her because she's going to be like, no, this is where we need to go. And
I can't imagine trying to plan something without ever stepping foot in that country.
Yeah.
And
Can we circle back to that for a second?
Yes.
I want to say, and this is kind of why I ended up coming back to you and being like, we really should do this because I think like if we look at 2020, there was like nobody educating, nobody really doing retreats. But if we look now, it's like everybody thinks that they can, especially once they hit 10,000 followers on Instagram
right?
or
Yes,
something.
right.
Like if you have a K next to your followers, then you're qualified to educate. And I just think that that is doing such a disservice to the community.
Absolutely.
Like if you are asking people, and this is again, I'm just going to speak from my perspective on like the way that I view retreats and workshops.
Right.
If you are going to ask a number of photographers who have never met you to pay and invest thousands of dollars to go to another country, like
Yes.
they deserve to be hosted and taken care of.
Right.
And like that, not everybody is gifted and qualified to host retreats and educate, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that I am because I care very deeply about making people feel at home. I care a lot about hospitality. I care a lot about nurturing community and conversations.
Right.
I'm not great at like business stuff. Like
You have a degree.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And so like I felt like this would be such a great partnership because we all have our different skills and are coming together in order to provide this opportunity.
Absolutely.
So I have some compassion for that host. For one thing, I hosted a retreat in Switzerland this past summer, and there was a natural disaster that happened
Right.
like 3 or 4 days before the retreat started. There was a massive landslide that literally washed away the village that we were going to stay in.
Oh my gosh.
And not just that, but it washed out like all but one of the locations that I had scouted.
That's so hard.
And so, but what I did differently is like, yes, that was out of my control. And that is going to affect the retreat because people are flying in a matter of days.
Totally.
But I communicated that and we like worked together to figure out like solutions. And it didn't go as great. Like our drives ended up being a lot longer because we had to drive around this mountain that collapsed.
Right.
But like it was my responsibility then to make sure that the experience was still what they paid for, that it was a good investment, that they were safe, that they were cared for, that they were never like, what is going to happen next? Like
they were fed.
They were fed.
They had an opportunity to get food. That was, I feel like everything was bad and then it was blown way out of proportion because everybody was hungry.
Actually, for those of you guys listening, we had a call with Katelyn like 2 weeks ago or something, and one of the first things we talked about was our food budget and what we were going to be doing.
We were like, that can't happen to be
how we were going to feed everyone. That was like the first thing we talked about because of this.
But you're totally right. Where people get to a certain point in their photography career and they think I need to educate. That's like the next step, and it's like sometimes education is not for everybody. Just sometimes teaching or coaching is not for everybody. They could have been a great player or a great student or whatever it might be. And they're so bad at helping other people learn along and stuff and like helping them to the next point in their business. Because for a lot of people who are doing these retreats, it's their first time in Europe too. It's their first time shooting in Europe. It's their first time experiencing the other side of the road, all the stuff.
I think some of these people haven't even been to workshops before.
I think it's our first workshop ever.
I think that they're just really good at setting up style shoots for themselves. So they think that it's time to do it for other people. And that's just like, you can't. And
no, go experience.
You know, we've heard horror stories of one host who people come to her retreats and her workshops because they want to know how she shoots, and then she gets mad when they ask her how she shoots.
Yeah, like what are your settings, or how do I shoot in direct light? And it's like,
what do you tell the couples so that
it's like they want to shoot like you, so you kind of have to like educate here, buddy.
You're branding as a workshop, which means like you're gonna educate them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, and also like Cami and I had kind of gone away from workshops for a second too, because it is so saturated right now, and it
Yeah.
feels yucky to be in the space and to like
How do you stand
like
out?
how well, and also like how do you avoid these like terrible situations where people are trying to go
Yeah.
viral on TikTok by talking shit about you? And
Yeah.
like I think that the partnerships that we've created here with the three of us, and then the guest speaker we have, and our content creator that we're bringing, between the five of us, we should be able
Mhm.
to make a good experience for people
Yeah.
and not suck. Um,
Yeah,
and
and I
so,
know that it probably is not going to be perfect. We
No,
no,
yeah,
probably will mess up, but
but
what
like,
we are going to do differently is go in with a lot of intention. And
yes,
one of the things that we care the most about is what is the experience for the attendings going to be like.
exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
And yeah.
We want them to feel loved and seen, and then we want to give them space to be able to create as well
Mhm.
while also learning.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
like all of us are, I feel like all of us are really open to feedback and listening and answering questions. And honestly, I probably give advice when advice is not needed. So I'm
Let me
sure
tell you.
I'm like, this is how I would do it. And then everybody's like, yeah, okay. Oh,
Or they're ignoring you by the end.
I'm sure everybody's like, oh my God, Jade's talking again.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's how I am all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
Cammy,
I listen to everything you say.
whatever.
No, I do. I really
Oh
do.
my gosh.
I listen and
You love
apply.
me. You
Yeah, I
love
do
me.
love you.
You
I
love
do
me.
love
Moms
you.
are fighting.
Me and Cammy will be the dancing entertainment for everyone
Yeah.
in
There we
case
go.
something does go wrong. We'll just be
Yeah.
like, look over here.
So
Mhm.
one reason though that this is such a good deal for everybody, you get the side of Katelyn where it's like, yes, she's the European expert, and then also she's the LGBTQ expert too, where she's going to educate us on that, which is amazing. Jade and
Mhm.
I, our talents lie in yapping about everything.
Mhm.
So if you need to know anything, just kidding. I think we're gonna talk more about like business side of things and posing, and that's the questions I get the most on my Instagram is like everybody always asks me like, how do you even go through posing and blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, that's always come easy. It's like this is one thing. I think my strength lies in like the posing of people and directing and stuff. Jade is just so natural, has such a natural eye. I hate it. It makes me
She
so
loves me.
mad that you're so good at that. And so it's like so fun to like get all these different
But also,
perspectives.
Cammy and I are actually, for how the same we are, our posing styles are different and both are
Hmm.
beautiful. And people like need to hear both. Like they need,
Yeah.
I listen to Cammy when she poses people all the time because sometimes you do need just something else, like some
Yeah.
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
energy.
True.
And listening to both, like you will learn the
Hmm.
way of both. Like,
Absolutely.
the way that both of us pose, because I think it's both. I think
Yeah.
it's great. Also our guest speaker is Dawn Photo, who she's phenomenal. Besties, we love her so
Love
much.
Dawn.
Talk about someone who can take a photo. Like that lady
So
is so great,
creative.
so
That
creative.
lady can take a photo.
That
Oh
lady,
yeah.
we could put her in a grocery store and somehow she would make that wedding look great. And so
Yep.
I'm so excited that she said yes to coming and hanging out with us, and she's going to do a guided shoot and teach everybody. And so I just feel like the whole space is just full of people who, like all of us are very free.
Yeah.
Like I think we're all like free spirited, and
Yeah.
the way we shoot is very comfortable. And I think that a lot of people could learn from that right
I've
now.
had the thought that I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be such a good workshop to like start out if you've never done a workshop before. But then I'm like, at the same time, it might be the worst because your expectations can be set very high for the rest of
Mhm.
for the rest of your life.
Then you'll never be able to go to
Yeah.
a workshop that's not ours again because it'll suck
Period.
ours.
Exactly. And it's gonna be so good. Anyway, I probably should like stop. What no, no, no. But Caitlin's right. Everything's gonna be done with a lot of intention and a lot of detail planning and just very detail oriented.
Mhm.
We did hire another friend, Megan, who does our social media.
Shout out Megan.
She is our type A girly in the group. So
Yeah.
she will be doing a lot of like the minuscule tasks that
She-
none of us wanted.
She's also content creating for everyone. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I struggle with forever is remembering my BTS and remembering to take videos and remembering just in general. I've bought every tool that you can think of to help
Yeah.
me remember to take behind the
Yeah.
scenes videos. Always forget. So
Do you have the glasses?
I have
Yep.
the glasses.
Got glasses.
I've got everything.
Yep.
I've got the little tripod thing to put on your camera. I've got the tripod things that follows you around. Like it's got the camera, it follows you that you can like set up.
No.
I've got a magnet one.
Don't know what that is.
Oh, I'll send it to you.
She's got
It's
it all.
actually great.
Yeah.
But I don't use it anymore.
But at the end of the day, I'm the only one ever taking BTS of her.
Yeah, he's the only one. And then I forget to do it of her. So
Classic.
sorry.
Win-lose situation over here.
Win-lose.
But I'll give you a couple good jokes while you're going.
Yeah, no,
So
it's fun.
I'm the morale. Anyways, so we hired Megan for me, and also for everyone else to get behind the scenes while you're shooting, specifically of each of you individually, of the group together, of the couples just by themselves, so that you can post them on your TikTok, go viral, because
Katelyn,
that's all that anybody cares about these days.
I feel like you should tell us some of the reasons you love Italy so we can get the people psyched.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Italy's a massive country, but if we were to look at the Dolomites, which are also so massive, like you could be in the Dolomite region driving for 18 hours. Like
Crazy.
it just is massive. And everywhere you look, it is so, so, so beautiful. One of my favorite things about it is that there's so many places that are stunning and that are accessible. You don't have to do a crazy hike or backpack in
Awesome.
to get there. There are some nuances, like really random rules about what times roads are open and
Oh,
anyways, but again, part of why it's important to go with somebody who has been there.
yes.
We show up.
but
Roads closed.
yeah,
We're like,
these are just like the mountains there are massive. And I'm
yes.
from Washington, so I have Rainier. Like I grew up with Rainier in
Mhm.
my backyard, like could see her from my street. And like to scale, just beautiful, massive
Crazy.
mountains. Yeah.
I'm so
It's
excited.
just
I'm
not hard to find like inspiration and to create with like
Yes.
that as your backdrop.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be so great. It's gonna be hard to like we find this with the Tetons right next to us. That
Mhm.
sometimes when you go to these places,
Yeah.
it's hard to like make it not just about the mountains, but also about
Yeah.
like the couples. And so I'm really excited to like teach people that too. It's like,
Mhm.
if you have somebody hire you to come take pictures of them in a place like this, obviously capture the energy of the location, but also capture
Mhm.
their love story
Right.
and how
Yeah.
to like balance the two. Because that is something that you have to practice doing because it
Yeah.
gets so easy. The amount of times that I've caught myself like doing as many couple out of focus, mountain in focus photos as I can during a shoot when we're in Jackson. I'm like, no, stop, take a picture of them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just about the scenery, but I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
that's why I'm going to Italy is
Yeah.
to go enjoy the scenery. So
Let's all
Yeah.
touch on some of our goals of like what we want out of this retreat for everybody else. Like one of mine, for example, is that a lot of content and workshops I have been to, content days and workshops, come out of it and it's just like you never talk to those people again. You get your photos and you're just like, okay, sweet, see ya. Like follow you on Instagram and that's about it. I would
Mhm.
love to come out of this with like way more connections and way more people that I'm like, okay, you're a part of my tribe now. And like, we're
Yeah.
going to follow each other. We're going to be best friends. And like, we can meet up whenever you're in Grand Teton or I'm in South Carolina. Nice. What came to mind. Hopefully we
we're
get to South
Spain.
Carolina for
hey, if
when
you
you're
live
in
in South
Spain, you come
Carolina,
see
you're
me.
coming.
yeah. But I would love to come out of this workshop specifically with more like in-depth deep
Relationships.
connections. Yeah, relationships with more people in our community.
I
So
love
that's one of
that.
mine.
You're so cute. I love you.
Thanks.
Oh.
That was like a very great thing.
Because we
actually.
know we're gonna get great photos. If my goal is to get great photos, I'm like, that's gonna be easy. But
This is why I love you.
what can we get more?
I love you so much. Caitlin, what about you?
I mean, I was gonna say community as well. Just leave
I
feeling more
love it.
connected. But if I were to say something else, I think that retreats are a really cool time to slow down and try something different. Like
Yes.
try shooting in a different perspective or using a different lens or coming from a different approach.
Challenge
Knowing that
yourself.
like, yeah, you really when you go to a retreat, you really just need like 50 good photos
Mhm.
to turn
Yeah.
into a blog, some posts and
Yes.
TikToks. And so
Yeah.
like, yeah, just
I
try
love
something
that.
new.
I
Yeah.
love slowing down. So great. I was gonna say there's been retreats. So if I'm an attendee coming to our workshop, what do I want out of it? There's been workshops that I've gone to that I don't look at the SD card for months. Like I
Yeah.
don't even look at those things. And I still actually have SD cards from 2023 that have workshop photos on them
Oh no.
that I've
God.
never looked at. I've just
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
because I didn't feel emotional. I didn't
Inspired.
feel inspired. I didn't feel emotionally connected to anything the whole time. And you know, I did like 5 sneak peeks, I guess, for like
Yeah.
one of the couples that I knew. You know, a lot of people were like, it was one of those workshops that you could tell that some photographers were there for one thing and one thing only, and so that
Mhm.
couple didn't get a lot of attention. And so I was like, I got you,
Yeah.
and I like sent them pictures. But what I would want out of this retreat is to feel like I walked away with something that I felt proud of and emotionally connected to, and not like a 256 gigabyte SD card full of nothing. Just even at 64 gigabytes of just like really intentional photos that are beautiful and speak to my portfolio and elevate something,
Yeah.
and elevate my business,
Mhm.
because that's like the whole point. We're here to learn. We're here
Yeah.
to advance our skills, and like you said,
Yeah.
be more creative and just be, challenge
Well,
yourselves.
and to touch on the hosts that like don't really help the attendees, I hope we're creating an environment that people feel okay to ask like
What's your
how do
settings?
you shoot indoors, or like how do you shoot without a flash, or what do you
Mhm.
do
How do you
here
edit?
like because we're gonna be there's gonna be times where we're gonna be shooting in like some direct sunlight and like there's not gonna be a tree in sight, so you're gonna have
Yeah,
to
no,
go
there's
for it.
often
Yeah,
not trees. Often
yeah,
not trees.
exactly.
Like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope we're creating an environment where people feel very happy and excited to ask us questions rather than being like, I don't want to seem like the person who doesn't know what's
No.
going on or how to do this.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, this is what this is for. Because for the longest time, I didn't know how to shoot inside, and I could have just asked somebody. You know, I could have been
Yeah.
like, what do I do? Like, what settings do I need to use and whatever. And so it's like creating a very open environment. Like, ask me anything.
Yes.
I'm an
This
open
is
book.
one of the reasons that I talk a lot though during workshops is I'll be taking a picture and I'll go, just so everybody knows, this is the settings on the back of my camera right now.
Yeah.
And everybody will be like, okay, got it. And
Yeah.
like in those like harsh lighting situations, or when they're moving and people want to know slow shutter, like what do you actually LOL. Slow shutter, like what do you actually shout out to the pod. What are you actually putting in your camera? Or are you just like cranking your shutter speed down and hoping for the best? Like,
Right.
so I feel like we're in a really good place to
Well,
help people.
and that's like the beginners. If we went to people who are really advanced and like had been shooting weddings, this is for them too. You know, they have been shooting
Sure.
for a long time, but it's like, I don't know what to do during tax season.
Taxi.
I'm like, why not? Ask me.
Yeah.
Don't ask me, dude.
Don't ask me.
Don't ask
I
Shane.
hired
You
out
ask
for that.
me.
My
Don't
lord.
ask- Don't ask me that one.
Dawn. Dawn is
Dawn-
really good about
Dawn's
that
great.
too.
I also feel like, yeah, you're right. And ask me how I answer my emails, and ask me how I get away with posting on social media once a month, and like, those things.
You don't get away with it.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So, okay, Katelyn, anything to conclude? Any like last remarks? Anything that you want to just leave the people on a high note with?
Well, I'm really excited to find out who's going to join us in Italy. I think it's going to be a really, really great time. We have 3 awesome couples lined up, and yeah, everyone's just going to be so lucky, even just to know them. I'm really
yeah.
excited for people to
I'm
know
so
them and for them
excited.
to be known by more people. And
Yes.
yeah, just looking really, really excited for all the good stories and jokes and intentional, meaningful conversations and silly, ridiculous conversations that
Yes.
we'll have. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably a lot of silly ones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's more the vibe.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, we are going to be announcing this workshop here in the next little bit. So make sure that you're following all of us on Instagram, following the Slow Shutter Pod, and just come to Italy with us.
Yeah, spaces
just
are
do it.
limited to
Yes.
a certain amount.
So just do it.
Just do it. Just send it.
Just send it. If you've been wondering if you should go to a workshop, this is the one that you should start with, or the one you should end with if you never go to another one again.
Speaking of taxes, you get your tax refund in like April, so
Yeah.
reimburse yourself
There
then.
you go.
Yeah, it's like it's free.
It's free.
So,
Basically.
all right. We love you all. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Slow Shutter Podcast with Cami Empey and Jade Jenkins.